Now back to Morning Line. Here's Steve Helms.
And welcome back, folks, and thank you for joining us on this Friday, June 17th. And I hope you're going to be making plans to enjoy the weekend. It should be a nice weekend, albeit a little hot, so make sure you take plenty of time to take a break and drink water. And we are very fortunate to have with us Jay Gibbs. He is with the Springfield Workshop, and they do a great work out there. So good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate being here.
Oh, you're very welcome. And we appreciate you being in the community and all the good things you do. You're the general manager. So some of our folks may not know who you are and what you do, so if you would share with us that.
All right. Springfield Workshop has been around for about 50 years, and what we are is an extended employment program, and we basically focus on providing employment opportunities for individuals with significant disabilities. And we do a lot of light packaging, we do maintenance work, we do cleaning work, a long laundry list of great jobs.
I had the privilege and honor to visit your workshop the other day for other reasons, but it looks like a great operation, and everybody there seemed to be happy and enjoying it. Matter of fact, they were all, you would think they were at a game or something as far as the enthusiasm when they saw us, and it was just very friendly staff, so we appreciated that.
Yeah, it's a great group. We've got employees that we have one employee that's been out there almost 45 years,
Wow.
almost since the beginning. Many have been there, 10, 15, 20 years. It's just a great opportunity because what we really focus on is providing opportunities for individuals with disabilities to have a career, to have a purpose, to have a place to go, just like you and I do every day. It's our job, and that provides a lot of purpose and meaning for them. And plus, the resulting benefit of getting a paycheck and reinvesting that in your community.
One of the articles in my stack of stuff has to do with the idea of money. If you had money for nothing, if you got all the money you need, what would you be doing? And a lot of people, even that win the lottery, the ones that are successful, continue to work and do the same things because work, while it takes care of us, it's a vital part of, we were created, I think, to work.
I think that's a very fair comment, and you look around. I've had friends as well as myself where throughout my career I've had moments where I was looking for work,
yeah,
and you really feel something's missing when you don't have that job. There's a lack of purpose. Does someone need me? Am I important? And I think for this group of individuals, they do great quality work. They're so fun to work with, and there's always excitement out there, and they just truly enjoy what they do every day.
So you talked about packaging, and I saw some French's products, some mustard.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tell us some of the things, and you also have this one very specific, something to do with Easter.
Oh, yeah. Well, we back in 2008, we commercialized the process of Sunny Bunny Easter eggs, and it has been just an incredible success. And right after the market crash in 2008, Springfield Workshop and their board took a pretty big risk. And since that point in time, I think the first year we produced 1 million eggs, and right now we're on a run rate of about 13 million eggs a year. And most of this is an e-commerce based business. We do some local sales, but the great part about it is it puts over 70 people to work, basically 5 days a week. And it's just fantastic. They go at it every day. They have fun, and they're producing a great product that's sold broadly.
Now, explain the difference, because, and I didn't really understand the difference between how the workshops in Missouri work in maybe other states. So if you could explain, because I think ours are privately controlled or owned or something to that
Yes.
effect.
Yeah, we're in Missouri and in Montana. Basically, we're set up as private not-for-profits that operate the sheltered workshops. We work in conjunction with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, or we call that DESE, and we also work in conjunction with local SB 40 boards. And where this is different is that we're an extended employment program. And so they call that the habilitation model. where we take individuals in and basically we train them skills day in and day out, with different jobs that come in, and provide them an opportunity, if you will, to learn new skills each and every day as they're going through. Whereas the majority of the other states that are out there are on what's called a rehabilitation model. And the thought process is that in the other states, the work is a form of therapy, if you will, rather than being a true employment, career-based opportunity. So Missouri is very unique from that perspective. I think it's a great model. I think it works very, very well. We just had a parent meeting last night, very good, very positive, long discussion. But the dedication from the employees, the dedication from the parents for what we do and how we do it is just fantastic.
So when you talk about the funding of the organization, you get money from providing services,
Yep.
but not all the money is provided by that. So you get money from DESE.
Yep.
And so and let's maybe talk some of the numbers real quick so people can understand. Not only does it benefit these folks, but it benefits the state of Missouri, because if this was another government budget or department, it would probably cost far more than what we're giving. The people are giving through DESE and other programs.
Yeah.
So where does it? Talk about the numbers.
Well, I think that's a great point. The Sheltered Workshop Extended Employment Program is one of those unique programs where we actually do produce a true return on investment. About half of our funding comes from state and local. The other half we earn on our own. That then translates into paychecks for our employees. Those employees then take those paychecks and they're basically out in the community just like you and I are, reinvesting and buying things at the grocery store. So it's a really unique scenario, whereas in a lot of states, it's simply a pass-through. They're getting state funding, and they're basically just pushing it through rather than taking that business approach, and going out and, bidding on contracts, being involved in just normal competitive business to get those contracts.
I think that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just
please.
going to say, I think that get excited because I think it's exciting because that business model, it's a nonprofit.
Yep.
But that you still have a business dynamic in the fact that if you said in 2008 you realized you needed to do something, and so the board took a leap of faith and expanded. And so based upon the skills and abilities that your employees have, you can get out in the marketplace. And can you share with us some of the companies you've done work with and do work for?
Yeah, I can give you, over the years, we have done business with Kraft, we've done business with Reckitt, we've done business with Redneck, we've done business with West Rock. The list goes on, and it's a normal business flow. Yes, we're not for profit. Yes, this is, our labor pool is a group of unique individuals with unique abilities. But we face all the same problems that every other business faces, frankly, it's just a lot of fun to be involved in this, to watch these people, where we can blend, that business approach with a great service.
And if your organization wasn't there, what would the cost? Because you mentioned some of the numbers. What would be the cost of someone to have one-on-one care? So right now your costing are very low with the state and local
Right.
are paying. What would be the cost if your organization wasn't providing these services?
If the sheltered workshops were not there, there's a variety of different programs that are available. There are some community integration programs where it's one-to-one, and that can range $28 to $32 an hour. There's day rehabilitation type programs that can run $120 a day for kind of a group setting and those sorts of things, which is vastly more expensive than what we do today. And I think what's really unique about the program is what we are really putting on the table is an opportunity for these individuals in a safe environment, for them to come in and truly have a career. And in doing so, that really helps us create a program where we do have a true return on investment. And I think that's really key. When we had the meeting the other day, it was really fun just kind of watching people going, yeah, that makes a great deal of sense.
Mm-hmm.
State funding comes in, provides an investment into this, but then what do we see out of that? Well, what we see is an investment in the community. What we see are individuals gainfully employed over long periods of time, and it just works. It really does.
And the reason I've kind of taken a little bit of time to go over the foundation of where we're leading to the issue is the problem is, and there's a change in legislation at the federal level. And part of your model is allowing people, again, who don't have the skills necessarily to provide economic benefit to an employer at the minimum wage level. And so you're paying these employees piecework, basically, or I believe.
Commensurate wage, yeah.
So as to the ability that they can do, they're being paid. And so it goes back to, if you have a law that says you have to pay this much, these folks in a lot of work environments couldn't get a job because the employer would look at them and say, I can't get the minimum wage plus the taxes and whatever other benefits I have to pay to make you an employee in my business.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, ultimately, we'll talk about the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, and but that really is the crux of what the issue is, and this is where, I'll just give you my direct opinion on it. If you have an individual who wants to work, they have a desire to work, they want to be a part of the community, they are willing to follow the rules just like we do when we go to work every day, then we've got somebody in our society who wants to contribute. And when we have programs available to them where they can do that, then we should be fostering that all the time.
Right.
And labor, when you look around at our business, in Southwest Missouri, labor pool is one of the major issues, whether you talk to the chamber or local manufacturers or employers. Finding a good labor pool of individuals willing to work is a tough thing. And we've got a great solution and a lot of people that are in that program right now, and we want to keep it that way.
Folks, this is Morning Line. We are with Jay Gibbs with the Springfield Workshop, and we're going to really talk about the real problem that's coming up and facing them when we get back after this break on Morning Line.
Now back to Morning Line. Here's Steve Helms.
And welcome back, folks. Thank you for joining us today. And if you hadn't caught us in the first hour, we're talking with Jay Gibbs from Springfield Workshop. And I'm going to just briefly give a synopsis of the situation. They provide employment to folks that otherwise would be very difficult to find employment in our area. They pay commensurate wages under certain regulations and laws at the federal level. And there's going to be a change in those laws in the WIOA, which is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, was changed. And so, Jay, I will let you explain what this might do to your model of operation.
Okay. Well, I think that's very fair, Steve. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act was basically signed into law by President Obama in 2014, and prior to that, WIA, the Workforce Innovation Act, was last put in place in 2000. So it was designed, it was time for a change. Mm-hmm. We needed it. And what WIOA basically does is it's very broad sweeping legislation that is to benefit the integration of the disabled in all categories. So, bottom line is WIOA is a good law in many, many ways. And provides opportunity for integration, provides opportunities that were not previously there, and we're certainly very much in support of that. I think the primary issue for the workshops, in the state of Missouri, is that our program, as an extended employment program, was really designed to specifically help out the significantly disabled. And this is a group that within the WIOA law, as the redraft has come out, really has not had a great deal of attention. And it's pretty clear from reading the proposed rule changes that are coming out that the voices of the parents of the significantly disabled, as well as the needs of those individuals, are not really reflected very well in this law. And so, again, we're in support of what WIO is trying to do. What we're basically doing is saying, hey, before we really go full bore ahead, make sure that we're taking a look at this critical group that Missouri has a 50-year history of doing a great job with, and make sure that these individuals, are taken care of.
So currently, there's folks in Springfield that are working severely disabled. They're doing
Yep.
a job. They're coming, having a good time, getting
Yep.
compensation.
Yep.
And there was a state that was a pilot for some of the proposed rules as how they would look. And if I understand the numbers, it was like they had a workshop, had about 600 and something in a different state.
Yep.
They did it according to the rules, and because what we're talking about is integration of these disabled into regular community jobs or just
Yeah.
regular life, which is good. I think you agree with that. You want that.
Absolutely. There's no question about that.
But what happened? The result of what happened in a trial state is that of about 600 people, about a couple hundred or maybe less were actually integrated into society, and then 400 or so lost their job, and we don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, the answer is we really don't know. There was a number of early adopter states, and I think what we're basically asking is for the federal legislators to take the time to look at the early adopter states. We've asked our parents to call the federal legislators and take a look at Vermont, take a look at Rhode Island, take a look at Washington, take a look at a number of these states that were early adopter states, and let's just make sure that the results of WIOA are what they think it's going to be.
I guess the question as a civilian, someone who's not in the industry, if we're doing something that helps 10, 20, maybe 25% of the people integrate, but we're leaving 75% of the folks that are currently employed and having purpose and meaning in life, I think we've just harmed more, and we don't even know if those 20, 25% were fully successful integrating. It just means they got them out of the workshop and they got them on a job, but who followed them, 1, 2, 3? Because I think some of the folks you've had in your workshop worked out in the regular society jobs, but then they came back because of the difficulties that aren't always apparent right away.
Steve, it's a good point. We've actually had it go both ways. We've had people go and get integrated into, let's call it mainstream, and are still out there and doing a great job, and we are all about that. I mean, if we can train people up and we can help them get, full-time employment in the commercial world, then we are going to do that. We are all about integration, and these are all new things that workshops are learning about, especially here in the state of Missouri, but these are things that we're very much in support of. I think what it really comes down to is when you look at the range of what a disabled individual is, there's a broad range. There are individuals who may have a physical disability, there's blindness, there's being deaf, it goes all the way down to, the developmental disability. And I think the real point to it is that where we're at is we want to make sure that we do everything that we possibly can in communicating with the federal level that make sure that what you're doing is not going to result in exactly what you just said, which is, obviously laws have to change. We have to be more of a progressive community and society, and these are very big issues, and we're not going to solve it in the next hour.
Yeah. Well,
but
one of the things that I thought was really, and I just want to get this before we run out of time, is there was a very interesting thing that they talked about when we toured the other day had to do with buses. And first of all, you got a bus stop there where the workshop is, and then you had to educate and train some of your workers on how to use the bus system.
Correct.
And what was the unintended consequences of training or showing these folks how to use the bus system?
Oh, that's such a great story. Is when it originally formed up, and then we got the bus route in place. The unintended consequence was that all of a sudden you started seeing our employees at the mall, and you'd see them at McDonald's. You would see them in these different locations, like, what's going on? I've never seen you here before. And the unintended consequences is once they learned how to use the public transit system, it opened up a huge door for them, which was fantastic.
And the intent was just to help them get from where they live to the job.
To work, yes.
Yeah.
But it opened up a whole bunch more doors. And Steve, that's a great example of how, change can produce real positive results. And that's really what we're going for. And we understand, WEO is all about making positive change, and that's what we're for. We just want to make sure that as this law proceeds forward and the rules are coming out and that sort of thing, that we can avoid the unintended consequences that are going to hurt a group of people.
Well, folks, there you have it. I would encourage you to just stay abreast of this situation. Maybe contact your representative, your senator, let them know the concern, because this is a federal issue. Rules are being promulgated that could have a serious impact on a service and organizations across the state of Missouri that are providing for the disabled, severely disabled. And I think the key that I see in here is that, people say, well, there could be bad things that happen, but your opportunities are free, and they provide the choice amongst the consumer, the parents, your disabled employees. They have the option to be there or not. No one's being forced. So it's not a sweatshop. Clearly, it's far from that. It's a wonderful work environment. So thank you, Jay, for being with us today.
Steve, thanks for having me.
And folks, we're going to take a break, and we think we're going to have a representative from Congressman Billy Long's office, and we'll talk about this from his perspective.